How's it going? It's Friday, so what does that mean? It's Financial Fridays. Now, I haven't done one of these in quite a while, and I had no intention of doing one today, but someone commented that they would like me to do a Financial Friday today, and they wanted me to do it on the Elon Musk and Twitter scenario going on. And I was like, sure, I like Elon Musk. I follow that news, and if someone wants to hear my opinion on it, of course, I'll just turn on the microphone and do a little research and give you my opinion. But yeah, it's been a while since I've done one of these. There's a reason why I haven't done a Financial Friday in a while. I'm not going to release that information yet, but I'm working on something else. And if it gets going, I will let you guys know. So let's catch you guys up to speed in case you don't know what's going on. So Twitter is a public company, which means anyone can buy. I'll just let you know, I have money invested in Twitter. I have one stock. I just bought it. I don't believe in the company at all, but I bought it only because of this whole Elon Musk thing, and I thought it'd be fun, right? I invest every month, and I had a little money left over from my Tesla investment for the month, and I was like, okay, it's like $50. I'll buy one. That's pretty much the only reason why I have one. So it's a publicly traded company, which means that anyone, you, me, Elon, anyone. A lot of people ask me if that's my grandpa or something. No, that's Elon. Anyone can buy stock in the company, which is basically buying a piece of the company. Now, me owning one share is like one billionth of percent of the company. So I have no weight. I can't do anything. So what happened was Elon, a few weeks ago, bought something like 9.2 or 9.3% of the shares of the company on the publicly traded stock market, which means he is now the single largest shareholder at 9.2%. The below that, I believe, is like Vanguard, which is just a big Wall Street mutual fund type of thing. Then it's like BlackRock. And I think Vanguard has like 6%. BlackRock has around 6%. And if you don't know what BlackRock is, I did a video on it. They are the company that is trying to make every person, you and I, a nation of renters by buying up every single family home they can and then renting it out, because BlackRock is a corporation. They live forever. Humans don't. So they can just like, okay, we'll buy them and buy them and buy them and buy them and just keep on buying. And then everyone just is forced to rent. And then they control the politicians. So like in San Diego, they don't let any new builds happen. To get a new build in San Diego is like a 2-year process, and they only allow it in certain areas. And most of the time, it's so slow at what they build. So I can't just go out and, just like buy a plot of land and build like a whole like bunch of homes. I can't. They wouldn't allow me. They barely get out any licenses to let new homes being built. The reason why is because then home prices go up. So people have invested interest not to build new homes, which increases the price of the home and makes it very expensive for people, which then you're forced to rent or something like that. Neither here nor there. So that's BlackRock. That's one of the companies invested in Twitter. Another big company is some Saudi prince is a massive shareholder in it. Jack Dorsey, the CEO or ex-CEO, I believe, and co-founder, he has about 2%, I believe. So that's what happened. Elon bought 9%. So now he's a massive shareholder. So he definitely has some control on what, the say is. Because here's the thing. If you're a massive shareholder, what you could do if, say, Elon makes a suggestion and they don't listen to him, he could dump his stock, which would then crash the market, or at least the Twitter stock, which would then be bad for the shareholders and everyone around them, and it wouldn't look good on every single person, and a lot of people would lose money. So therefore, when you're on the board, you have a fiduciary duty to the shareholders, meaning that you have to do what's in the best interest of the shareholders. So me, I have one share. So they have to do what's best for me, and anyone else has a share. They offered Elon a board seat, but it came with a stipulation, because originally Elon was like, sure, I'll take a board seat, because when you're on the board, you kind of tell the CEO what you want Twitter to do, or any company. But they had a little thing that, cliff note, like if you join this board, you cannot buy more than 15%, because at 15%, he'll probably have too much control, and then he can kind of do whatever he wants. And so then Elon was like, no, that's not how this is going to work. I want more control, because he wants to control Twitter, is what Elon wants to do. So then, since he didn't join the board seat, he made an offer. I believe this was a few days ago. He made an offer to buy out the company at $54.20 a share. And at the time, I believe it was around the $40 mark. So that means every single person like me or anyone else, or someone that has millions of shares, you will get, currently it's at $40 at the time, you will get a premium. He'll give you an extra $14. So it'll go from like $40 to $54. So meaning everyone will be making tons and tons of money. I'll make $14, but someone who has millions, if not billions of dollars invested in this will make a lot of money. So he made an offer, and the board turned it down. Now, why would the board turn it down? It makes zero sense why the board would turn it down. So the board took this thing called the poison pill, which they turned it down because they don't want to sell it. And they took the poison pill, meaning if Elon decides to open up his app, his stock trading app, and start buying up as many shares as he possibly could, anyone who wants to sell them, then he could eventually get more and more control that way. Eventually, once he gets to 51%, it's his company. He can do whatever he wants because he owns the company at that point. And so he could just fire the CEO. He could just get rid of the board. He could just do whatever he wants. It's kind of his company. He wants to take it private, though, so he doesn't have to deal with all that bunch of legal stuff. Because I'm sure if he tried to fire the CEO and the board and all that kind of stuff, it would be lots of suits and BS. So he wants to take the company private, so he owns it. So people like you and I can buy shares in it, and he gets to do whatever he wants. So he tried to take it private, buy him out. They took the poison pill option. That's what they call it, the poison pill, meaning, that's their response to Elon wanting to buy it. They're like, hey, I want to make an offer. Their fiduciary duty as the board, they have to take it because it's a good offer. But they turned it down and they took the poison pill option. The poison pill option is if any one person, meaning Elon, gets more than 15% by going on his app and buying up all these shares and all that kind of stuff, then they take the poison pill option, which means that they will then dilute the stock by just magically printing more shares in the company, and then the board people will be able to buy them at a discount. So let's say at the time the share price is $50 at the time that Elon gets up to 15%. They will then issue brand new shares, which dilutes the stock, and buy it. And instead of buying that share at $50 a share, they may buy it at $20 or $25 or $10. I have no idea what the discount will be. Meaning that places like Vanguard, BlackRock, and all this kind of stuff can then buy all these shares to up their percentage. So Elon might be at 15, but then they discount all these shares, and then BlackRock gets it for pennies on the dollar, and then all of a sudden they're on top again. So why is that bad? Why do people care? Number one, gets Elon out of the way from their point of view. But number two, someone like me or you or whoever owns Twitter stock, their shares get diluted, which means supply and demand. All of a sudden, you just massively increase the supply, which means my stock that's currently at whatever it is, $45 as of today or something like that, will now drop. And it could drop down to $20. It could drop down to $15. It's not like a stock split where they actually give the shareholder more. Like if they did a 2-to-1 split, my one stock would turn into two stocks, but the stock price would be cut in half. It's not like that. This would dilute. It's the same thing if you watch the Social Network, the Mark Zuckerberg biopic movie, and that one of the co-founders got his stocks diluted. Basically, you could dilute someone to basically where they have nothing. Where, let's pretend there's 100 stocks out, and I own 1%. Well, now if you all of a sudden dilute me and make it from 100 stocks to now 1,000 stocks, my one stock is now not 1%. It's a tenth of a percent. And you just do that over and over and over. So That is very, very bad. So what's going to happen now, because that's probably, most people think that's what they're going to do, is Elon will come back and he could sue them saying that you are supposed to uphold all the shareholders and do what's best for them. Elon being the biggest, meaning that he'll sue them and said, this was a good deal. You didn't take it. Now I'm suing you. And now there's going to be a whole bunch of lawsuits, and the lawsuits will go in Elon's favor and forcing the board to take the deal. There's the Saudi prince or whatever are saying it's worth more than that. But the problem is there's a lot of, like Goldman Sachs and a lot of projection companies and analysts and stuff like that are saying that it's not worth that much. And then also, they only made $174 million in profit last year off of like a $2.17 billion in revenue, I believe. I'm trying to remember these numbers off the top of my head. So, I mean, it's not that profitable a company. So that's kind of like the whole story. That's what's going on. What do I think will happen going forward? I think that there's going to be a ton of lawsuits. This lawsuit after lawsuit. What Elon could do is basically saying, if you do this, I'm going to dump the stock and it will just shrink everything. So let's say he dumps his 9% and then all of a sudden the stock just plummets to the ground. Then people like me and other shareholders, well, I won't, but someone that has a bunch of stock in the company could sue Twitter for making them lose money and lose all this money. So then they'd sue the board, and then Elon would then buy all the stock when it's already massively low because of him dumping it, and then him, all the lawsuits and everything going on, and it'll just drop. The CEO would probably get fired. The board will probably get fired. They have like insurance. Their insurance could like drop them, all sorts of stuff. So it's going to be very interesting if Elon decides to go that route. We don't know what he's going to do. So that's going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out. So we'll probably know over in the next couple of weeks what's going to happen. Elon was on, I think, like a TED Talk, like just a few days ago after he made that offer. And they asked him what would happen if they blocked you from buying it. And he's like, I don't know. And they're like, well, if you don't get it, is there a plan B? And Elon said he does have a plan B if they did this. So I don't know what it is. He didn't say what his plan B is, but could be. So what do I think of all this? Well, it's pretty plain and simple. I am an Elon fan, so I am obviously going to be side Elon. But no, in general, Elon is trying to do this for free speech, which I believe him. I don't use Twitter. I have a Twitter account. I never use it. I find Twitter's algorithm the worst of all of them. Honestly, the best one is YouTube by far. I find Twitter just a bunch of people arguing, and like I'd use it for music and you'll get like X amount of followers, but it's like you'll be seen by like basically no one. Because the thing is, the way the algorithm works, it's wanted to give you, I hate these algorithms. Like all these algorithms need to be fixed. Like if Elon, if you're watching, I'll give you a tip on how to fix this algorithm. So the way algorithms work is it goes up Facebook, Instagram, YouTube used to be this way. It's not so much anymore. YouTube goes off a click-through rate and watch time and probably a couple other metrics, but it's not engagement as much. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter go off of engagement. And what engagement means is how people are engaging with the post, either as picture or typed up words, whatever it is. And the way they do engagement is how many people are liking, thumbs down, thumbs up, whatever metric you have, how many people are commenting, how many people are looking at it. So on Instagram, if you hold up your face and it's like, oh, that person, even though you're scrolling through and it's like, oh, that person was staring at that picture for 0.2 seconds. And then the next picture, ooh, he stared at that picture for 0.4 seconds. That means it's more engaging. And so they'll pass it on. So what it does is, because people will follow hundreds, if not thousands of people, so your feed won't show everyone. It will only show people that Twitter, Instagram, Facebook deem are the best, because they're fighting for your eyeballs and they want to make sure that you stay on their app the longest. So they push in front of you what they deem is the best. And the best means the most engaging. The problem is, what's the most engaging, you ever hear the saying, if it bleeds, it leads, with the news, is usually negativity is the most engaging. Getting people angry so they comment back and go, no, I hate you, hope you die, you're a very bad person, blah, 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 right? They want that. That's engagement. It is. But it's not positive engagement. So what happens is, that's why with Twitter, you're just left with a bunch of people arguing, very mean to people, like, saying terrible things to people all the time. You always hear like people like, I stay off of Twitter, right? I mean, I'm not big enough to ever see any hate or even commenting on my Twitter stuff. But that's the general consensus, is you have so many people arguing, and then you have Twitter like banning people and shadow banning people and then kicking people off and all sorts of stuff. And usually it's very political and whatnot. So my issue with the algorithm is it promotes negativity. So someone who might not be that negative normally, the more they integrate with Twitter, the more negative they become, because they find that if they said, I love the sun today, it was very nice, it won't get any likes or shares because it's not very engaging, because it's not as negative. And this has been proven. Negative always is like the most powerful. I mean, there's a documentary all about it on Netflix. I think it was called now I can't remember what it's called. Something experiment. I don't know. Tristan something, who worked at Google and Facebook or something like that. He did it was a pretty good documentary. Anyways, they've shown studies that negativity. So that person's like, oh, I love the sun today, it was nice. Well, it's no shares, but it's like, if you go, I hate the sun, I wish the sun would cease to exist and blow up, whatever. It's like, oh, since it's negative, it gets more shares, more comments, gets pushed more. So now that person gets this reward of, hey, my negative stuff actually gets further reach. And that's what you care about on social media. It's like, okay, I want more likes, I want more shares, I want more engagement. So the next thing you know, it's another negative post. Oh, that one did good. I'll do a positive. It didn't do very good. Negative post, negative post, negative post. And then what you're left with is this person gets inundated with just putting out negative stuff, and then themselves gets negative. And then they become more negative. And that's why people are snapping at the smallest of thing, getting so angry. So angry. I remember I did this comment. I was watching some political video, and someone said, and this was years ago, by the way, I'm apolitical. I don't care about either parties. But I was watching a video, and someone on the video, very big news left program. I watch both right and left so I can get an equal thing. I'll see because I like to know what's going on. They said that whoever votes for Trump is a racist. Now, I have family, immediate family, that is right and that are left as well. Literally, immediate family that are on opposite ends. And so then I go, well, I put in the comments, I was like, well, just because someone wants to vote for Trump doesn't mean they're racist. What if they are in the military and Trump is pro-military and increasing the budget, and they like that one aspect, and that's very important to them, so they vote for him. Literally, people in the comments called me a Nazi and said, if I believe that and I want to vote for Trump, first of all, I never said I did, but I said if someone, and they were calling me a Nazi. I'm like thinking to myself, do you even know what a Nazi is? That's like, and it's just the comments from people. And it's just like, and I think it's because this algorithm pushes negativity and pushes you to be negative all the time. So, and it just makes society more negative because they see negative videos, because those are the ones that get pushed by the algorithm. And then, so on and so forth. So what they should do is they should just shadow ban people that are overly negative. And then they should actively promote positive, even though it gets less engagement. But if you always constantly promoting positive stuff, I think it's better for humanity and as a whole. Maybe it's not better for the dollars of the company, but that's where you got to weigh. Do you want everyone to be negative? I mean, I don't even go on Facebook anymore because anytime I open it up, it's like just people arguing about politics. I'm like, ugh. So I never go on Facebook anymore. Most of my friends don't use Facebook anymore. It's just uncles and aunts and relatives arguing about some political thing. So it's like, And that's how I view Twitter. So I don't even go on there anymore. I pretty much just use Instagram and YouTube. I had a TikTok, but it's too much. I barely even use the ones I have. But yeah, so I'm rambling now. But someone out there wanted to know my opinion on it. So this video is just for you, and anyone else who wants to watch it. Doubt that many people will watch it, but I did this video just for you. So just to let you know, I do try to read every comment, and I try to reply to every comment. So as you can see, I did this video. Now it is Friday. So I'm going to take my dogs out. They're scratching at the door, and I'm going to get a pizza because I have the whole house to myself for the weekend. Girlfriend is gone, or fiance is gone. So it's just me and the dogs this weekend, and I will be playing guitar, some music, wrote a banger of a song, just finished it. It's one of those things like, I write songs all the time, and when I listen to it, I'm like, oh, this is going to be the one. This is going to be my number one hit. This is going to be it. And who knows? It'll go out and no one will care and no one will like it. But in my mind, for this short period until it's released, I'm trying to release it in a month from now because I have to get all the advertising stuff squared away. For that month, I have all this hope that this song is going to be the song that puts me on the map. This will be the good song. People will love it. I personally like it. It's right up my alley. And then for that whole month, I'll be super excited. And then it releases and it's like, and then it's back to the drawing board, writing a new song, writing and like, oh, the song's terrible. Oh, it's actually pretty good. Let's record it. We can record it. Oh man, this turned out to be the best song in the world. And then it's that month and then before the release, and it's same cycle. That's how it is, I guess, being a musician. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on it. I would stay tuned, see what's going to happen. It's going to be a wild ride from here on out. Elon doesn't go down without a fight. I'm personally in favor of his decisions and the things he said about why he wants to take over Twitter, saying that Twitter is the town square and he should open free speech for everyone, whether it's stuff you don't like or do like. It should be free and open for everyone and not banning people and all that kind of stuff, which I mostly agree with. Obviously ban the heinous people, but then who watches The Watchmen? That's why The Watchmen is such a great movie, by the way. Love that movie. And the book. Basically the same. But who watches The Watchmen? So who am I? Like, if you have someone that says, oh, this person's heinous, well, why is this person pure of heart and doing it 100% pure of heart, or are they influenced? Who knows? That's the problem with Twitter. That's the problem with like censoring in general, is who censors the censors, and that is a massive issue. And there's been massive issues with Twitter censoring things, censoring news articles that, literally, I remember even YouTube does this. They censored the whole lab leak theory. And I remember doing some research. And I'm like, it makes sense. And then people call me a conspiracy theorist. I was like, I don't know, it just makes sense. Like, there's a disease lab in Wuhan, and it came from Wuhan. I don't know. Like, to me, just oh no, conspiracy. Then later, it's like, oh, it's probably true. And same with, I think there was like a laptop with Joe Biden's son, who is a horrible human being. Horrible. I'm not talking about politics. Horrible human being. I don't know if you guys know this, but his brother died in war, and then he had an affair with his brother's wife and left his current wife. Oh my gosh. I mean, I don't know if it's true, but the little news that I have heard from him, I was like, you're a horrible person. I could never do that to one of my brothers, nor would I want to. Like, oh. And he's always like addicted to drugs, and who knows? They're all corrupt politicians and all their kids and all their heirs and everything. All terrible. All of them, left and right. There's no angels in there at all. All right. Well, you guys have a great weekend.